Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of AfterThoughts. Tim Ristow here, host of the Creative Christians podcast, joining you again today for another new episode. Actually, my first one of the new year. So happy New Year. Hope it's off to a great start for you. Also, if you have not heard the Creative Christians podcast, please head on over to my Buzzsprout page. The link is on screen now, and it's also in the description below. Check it out. It's all about Christians and creatives and how their faith influences their work and creativity. Well worth checking out. You can also go to Apple Podcasts or any other podcast distributor. We are all over the place. Just search for Creative Christians and Tim Ristow. Lately, I've been following a lot of faith-based and Christian films, getting ready to record the next episode of the Creative Christians podcast, all about faith-based films. So I've been following a lot of stories, in particular Angel Studios, who we're going to look at a little more today, but also a lot of other upcoming faith-based films. So it's been kind of interesting to see what's out there. So today, let's talk film, and I want to talk about the latest film from director Alejandro Monteverde, who, as many of you may be aware, was the director of Sound of Freedom, last year's big faith-based film hit. And we've been talking a lot about that. I've been kind of getting to know Monteverde's background a little bit better. Been reading up a little bit about him, and he's definitely one to watch. So his next film, Cabrini, is about to come out in March, and I got an email late last night or early this morning, I guess, from the Angel Studios email list. I'm sure many of you, if you're on the email list with Angel Studios, have gotten this as well, about a live stream coming up for the film Cabrini in about a week, I think. So I thought I'd make you all aware of that. Let's take a look at that quick. So here's the email I got from Angel Studios. Cabrini is based on a true story about this woman we'll talk about here in a minute. It's coming to theaters March 8th. And they're promoting this January 17th, 8:30 p.m. exclusive first look live stream event where you'll watch a short clip from the film. This clip will only be shown during this live stream event. So that's kind of intriguing. Of course, everybody would love to get the first look at a new film. It says here, go behind the scenes with director Alejandro Monteverde as he offers insights into the creative process. So obviously, we're all about the creative process here at the Creative Christians Podcast and Afterthought Show. So I want to make you all aware of this because this could be a very fascinating look into the making of the film and into Alejandro Monteverde's creative process. So I think this would be kind of fascinating to see. Hopefully he goes into some detail about his specific creative process and how he lives out his faith through that. So I'm going to definitely try and jump in on this live stream. I need to RSVP to it, but I wanted to make you all aware of it because I think there's a lot of potential for what could come out of it. It says here, tickets go on sale during this live stream, and we will be offering an early bird special to everyone that is live. So I guess you'll get a discount of some sort. Be one of the first to reserve your seats to see this film in theaters starting March 8th, and then you can RSVP, which I have not done yet. So if you click on the RSVP link, you're taken to this page here on the Angel Studios website. It gives a countdown to the live stream, 6 days, 10 hours, 14 minutes at the time of this recording here. Exclusive first look with that scene, and looks like the actress who stars in the film will be part of it, as well as Monteverde as well. So here's the summary of the film. She took on the most powerful men in New York and the Catholic Church in a fight for the city's sick, starving, and homeless immigrants, and built the largest humanitarian empire in history. Cabrini draws on the grit and determination of Francesca Cabrini to present a story that showcases the resiliency of the human spirit and the power of a woman who refuses to accept society's limits. Be one of the first to experience the invigorating magic of Cabrini in a special live stream on Wednesday, January 17th at 6:30 Mountain Time. We'll be unveiling an exclusive first look at the film, only available during the live stream. We'll also be sitting down with the film's award-winning director, Alejandro Monteverde, to discuss the powerful movie and officially launch ticket sales. So it sounds like an intriguing live stream event, promotional, of course, but also, like I said, hopefully we can get into a little bit of Monteverde's thoughts on the creative process of filmmaking as a faith-based filmmaker. So intrigued about that. So let's pop on over to the Angel Studios website and take a little closer look at their page on the Cabrini movie itself. Cabrini follows Francesca Cabrini, an Italian immigrant whose heart and ambition helped her to build an empire of compassion for the least fortunate of New York City, eventually becoming the first American saint of the Catholic Church and one of the most inspiring entrepreneurs in American history. Cabrini devoted her life to fighting for the happiness and health for individuals in the margins of her society. Her determination to serve those in need and fight the obstacles and bigotry that stood in her way will inspire all audiences to fight harder and love better. So again, this is based on a true story. Francesca Xavier Cabrini was born in 1850 in the village of San Angelo Lodigiano, located near Milan, Italy. She was the youngest of 13 and wanted more than anything to join a Catholic order and serve her God and her church. Cabrini desired to serve under the Daughters of the Sacred Heart, an order that had taught and mentored her, but was in too poor of health to join their ranks. Cabrini did not let these initial setbacks keep her down. In 1880, she and 7 other sisters founded their own order, the Institute of the Missionary Sisters of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Her scrappy and determined efforts led her to meet with Pope Leo XIII. Though she and her sisters initially requested to be sent as missionaries to China, the Pope sent the sisters to New York to serve thousands of Italians who had immigrated to the States. Immigrants in New York, particularly those from Italy, whom Cabrini and the rest of the sisters were charged with serving, were severely poverty-stricken. Cabrini set out to provide for the orphans and also to offer education for all the immigrants. Eventually, she established 67 schools, hospitals, and orphanages around the world. Cabrini worked tirelessly for the betterment of the world until her death in 1917. She was canonized as a saint in 1946 and named Patroness of Immigrants in 1950. So the more politically motivated might think this is strictly a story about immigrants per se, and they obviously talk a lot about that. But it looks to me, just from briefly reading about it here, it sounds like it's a lot more about, obviously, this woman helping people in need. And I think that's going to be the message that comes across it, whether it's immigrants or anybody else. But in particular, this story, of course, focuses on immigrants. So I think it's going to be a very interesting angle. I'll be curious to see how that message plays out. But I think very much this is about a woman following her faith, her Christian faith, and helping other people in need. Let's take a quick moment and check out the trailer in particular. I think this is a very well done trailer. It's been out for a while. I'm not sure how long. I've already watched it, but wanted to take a quick peek at it here again and highlight the cinematography. The cinematographer is the same guy that did Sound of Freedom, and that movie looked good. There wasn't a ton of really super standout shots, but the film just looked good. It had a nice style and look to it, and the lighting was good. But it looks to me here, as we watch the Cabrini trailer, this kind of takes it to a new level. So let's watch it together here. I want to highlight a few things about the trailer and the shots. Love the practicals and the use of light and shadow in this.
Dear reader, New York is built upon the dead.
I love that shot right there with that beam of light coming in. Then you've got a practical here, foreground, just the use of light and shadow and composition and framing throughout this is really well done. Oh, I love that shot. That's one of my favorites right there. I want to call attention to this one. There is a lot of use of silhouettes and shadows, and in this case, reflections on the water. It's just a really great shot here. The use of shape, the composition, the off-center composition of the framing here. It's just really nice. I love this shot. This grabbed my attention right away. Really looks nice.
It was
again, another kind of silhouette or partial silhouette shots here where you're lit, the actors' characters are lit by, natural light there in the background, and it just defines the characters. It looks very natural and dramatic. Again, another silhouette shot. That one's just fabulous with the window light just cast across the background. The colors, the earth tones, contrasting with what was one of the earlier shots here we had of the, the blue outdoors, the kind of colder look there, and then you've got these warmer earth tone colors here. Kind of an interesting contrast of styles. Shallow depth of field there, highlight her emotion.
If I made you the first woman ever to lead an overseas mission, the whole world would be...
Nice shot there. Love that tracking shot, that pull out to her revealed in the foreground. Oh, I love that shot. It's a nice little push in. And again, the circle seems to be a shape that's going to be used a lot in the framing and throughout the film. Another blue toned outdoors, early morning blue toned. Again, lots of silhouettes. Some of these shots here look like this is going to be a grittier looking film in some ways, in some parts, compared to Sound of Freedom, which was a cleaner looking film overall.
So you let a woman push you around.
John Lithgow.
Is that how you run your church?
Again, a lot of use of the windows, these big, huge windows. Lithgow. He looks great there. It's another nice shot with the smoke drifting in the foreground. Lithgow with that great tall hat, the beard, and everything. Nice looking.
You want to leave New York and never return?
Some really great shots there, too. This perspective of looking through the water. Someone obviously up on the shore reaching down to help somebody in the water. There's the person in the water reaching out up to somebody. Don't know if that's Cabrini or someone else. I don't know if this is a flashback or a dream sequence or part of the story, but looks intriguing. I don't know the story of Cabrini very well at all, so this will be interesting to see it kind of firsthand.
New York and never return.
Another great shot.
Who the hell do you think you are?
I am a woman, and I am Italian. And we are all human beings. We are all the same.
Another great silhouette.
It's a shame that you're a woman, Mother. You would have made an excellent man.
No, men can never do what we do.
Interesting. So it looks really intriguing. I'm sold. I really want to see this. The cinematography looks fabulous, which is by this guy here, who outside of Sound of Freedom, I'm not familiar with. Gorka Gomez Andreu, I believe is how it's pronounced. They don't have a biography on him here at TMDB, the movie db.org website, but they do list some of his other credits. He's been DP on all these different films here, as well as Sound of Freedom. None of these here that I'm familiar with, so I'm kind of intrigued to learn a little bit more about him and catch up on some of these. Another Day of Life, Ermentari, The Blacksmith and the Devil, Arati, Anybody Seen My Girl, Window to the Sea, Dar Dar, House of Others, and Playing with Death. Just looking at the posters, they look intriguing. Some have checked some of those out. I've not dug into those. And then, of course, Alejandro Gomez Monteverde, who directed Sound of Freedom, has a few films to his credit, too. Sound of Freedom 2023. 2015, he did a little film called Little Boy, a World War II war drama film. Have not seen that. And then probably before Sound of Freedom, his best-known film was this 2006 film called Bella, an American drama. Film is about the events of one day and the impact on the characters' lives. I've heard about that. It kind of had some notoriety back in the day, and I have not seen that one yet, and I need to make that part of my watch list for the podcast. But I did find this interesting article here on the Austin Chronicle about Bella after it came out, or about Monteverde after Bella came out. And this is from March 9th, 2007, Austin Chronicle from my city, Austin. And I wanted to read this because it's kind of interesting, especially for fellow filmmakers or those interested in film. I like this article. It's really interesting. It says here, it began with his toys, but G.I. Joe wasn't a warrior and Superman didn't fly. As Alejandro Gomez Monteverde grew up in Tampico, Mexico, he instead used the toy men as actors on the stage to fulfill a deep need to tell very human stories. And he certainly has gone on to do that. Sound of Freedom and Cabrini here, I think, are both very, Cabrini just telling from the trailer, very, very human stories, lots of emotion in them. The University of Texas film grads feature, Bella, marks a culmination of that yearning. His first full-length film took the People's Choice Award at the Toronto International Film Festival for its beautifully shot, thoughtful meditation on loss, connection, family, and food. I believe that being a filmmaker is not just a profession, but also an opportunity to make a difference in the world, Monteverde says, whose wife, actor Ali Landry, is pregnant with their daughter. There's all this hatred around the world, and we live in a very sexually driven culture with rapists and people abusing. A lot of films are very violent. When I graduated from film school, I decided I wanted to make films in which people love more and judge less. Metanoia Films, the company he started with Bella star Eduardo Verstegue, who was in Sound of Freedom, was formed to accomplish that, and it marks a major leap from their Mexican childhoods. Go down here a little bit. Monteverde could understand little of what the student filmmakers said, but he quickly understood that the University of Texas was where he wanted to be. He went to the film department and told them, me, dream, University of Texas, film. But dreams don't come easily. The program repeatedly rejected him, so he took classes at Austin Community College, learned English, and kept trying. He figures the UT film folk finally took pity on him when they said yes. Next, he talked his way into using department cameras whenever they were idle, spent his rent money on film stock, slept on a couch near the faculty mailboxes, and seldom made it to class. The result was 2000's Bacho, a short that went on to win awards at 4 film festivals. I've also not seen that, but I would definitely like to check it out. The idea for Bella, which was co-written by Austinite Patrick Millian, came to Monteverde during a drive from Austin to L.A., where he was originally set to make a film about boxing. Pain is a language, Monteverde says of his realization. When you share with another human being, it can really bring you closer together. Each person's pain becomes each person's medicine. It becomes each other's redemption. The story is inspired loosely by trials experienced by friends, but also by the immigrant family's emphasis on food and how it holds them together. In Mexico, it's all based on family, Monteverde says. You live in your parents' house pretty much until you marry. With Mexican filmmakers, you always see this same texture and character development. We tend to go a little deeper. In my humble opinion, culture has a lot to do with who you are. and Bella, which again I haven't seen, but I think it's really a film that has a lot to say about children as well, kind of like Sound of Freedom does. It's, I believe, an anti-abortion film, a pro-adoption film, so it has some pretty strong themes in it as well. So I need to check that one out. I'm very intrigued by that one too. And that article I thought was just kind of interesting because it's here from the Austin Chronicle here, kind of a local thing for me here, so it's kind of interesting. And I didn't realize, actually, until I read this, that Monteverde was a UT film grad, so that's kind of cool as well. Anyway, just a quick look at Cabrini, the director of photography, and the director himself. So what do y'all think? What do you think of Cabrini, having seen the trailer? Are you going to participate in the live stream event? I think it looks intriguing, and I think there'll be a lot to hopefully come away with from it. And I look forward to seeing the film on March 8th as well. One other thing to note quick here, too, as we look over at the movie poster. It listed as coming International Women's Day, March 8th. Appropriate day since it's about this woman of faith. But anybody that has any concerns about, is this going to be like a feminist movement type film? I really don't think so. Number one, coming from Monteverde, who's a Catholic and has his faith-based beliefs involved. I don't think it's going to be that kind of film at all. I think it's just going to be about a strong woman of faith, who followed her heart and followed her faith in helping other people, and probably had to stand up to some men at the time who had some, as we saw with Lithgow's character, the mayor there in the trailer, who has some really strong misguided views of men and women. Potentially, I'm guessing that's some of what was going on. But anyway, I think it's just going to be a really good film about a strong woman of faith, and makes sense that you would release it on International Women's Day. So let me know what you think. Put your comments down below and tell me, are you looking forward to Cabrini? And are you intrigued by the filmmaking of Alejandro Monteverde? Anyway, that's all I got for today. Have a great one. Be blessed and stay in God's Word. Take care. See you next time.